Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Top 3, where we argue the top 3 films of a director, actor, or genre. In this episode, we're fighting the top 3 Arnold Schwarzenegger films. And I got Danny from Geekdom 101 and Chris Gore back from Film Threat. Thank you for coming, guys. Danny, you were pumped up to do this one. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready, man. It was tough. This is a very tough one because Arnold has an unbelievable filmography.
He does. He needs to give more credit for that. And Chris, how are you doing? Are you an Arnold fan, safe to say?
Yeah, of course. Love Arnold, and I'm excited. I'm excited because I think my opinion may divert from what you guys are going to say, but we'll see.
I love it.
But I'll probably like it because he's got a great film.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, there's some obvious ones we could go here, and that's where I think things are going to get interesting. But let's see what happens. All right, now 10 minutes are on the clock. As you guys know, you've done this already. We did Jim Carrey previously. You can check that out at the end if you haven't already watched. But let's get to his acting credits. We're going to start. I'm going to read through the main credits as we start the time. And you guys know how this works. Let's do it. Boom. Time is on the clock. All right, Hercules in New York. Stay Hungry. Let's go. Conan the Barbarian. Conan the Destroyer. And then Terminator. Red Sonja. Commando. Raw Deal. Predator. The Running Man. Red Heat. Twins. Total Recall. Kindergarten Cop. Terminator 2. And then we had, I forgot he was in Dave. Jeez. And then Last Action Hero, True Lies, Junior, Eraser, underrated act. I do enjoy that one a lot. Jingle All the Way, Batman and Robin as Mr. Freeze, End of Days, The Sixth Day, Collateral Damage, T3. He was a great cameo in The Rundown as well. Around the World in 80 Days cameo, and then he was our governor for a while, and then he went back to to his little cameo in Expendables. He was more in Expendables 2, so I'll count that one. The Last Stand, Escape Plan, him and Stallone escaping from a prison. Expendables 3, and then I'll be honest, I haven't watched a lot of these newer ones. Maggie, Aftermath, Killing Gunther. He also did Genesis, and then there was Terminator Dark Fate, and that's what we have to base off. Triplets isn't out yet, even though I'm very curious. All right, so a new Conan. Chris, I'm going to start with you this round. What would you say is the best Arnold? Let's see if we all agree.
Conan the Barbarian.
Didn't see that coming. For number one, I'm ready to hear it. All right, but let's go around and see why. Dan, and then Danny, what's yours?
Well, mine was not Conan. You want me to say what mine is?
Yeah, what was yours?
All right, well, I like Conan, but no, mine was it's obvious, but Terminator 2 Judgment Day. I mean, some say that's the best movie ever made. I'm not going to say it is, but some have said that, and I can't argue it. It's up there.
I was going to pick Total Recall. So we're all over the place because
Really?
I love me some Total Recall. Action, Arnold. Oh, it holds up. All right, so we got to go through. All right, so Chris, why is that your favorite quickly? And then we'll go through number 2. But Chris, why did you pick Conan?
Well, first of all, I mean, he's obviously the title character, and it's an epic story. It implies this huge universe, all this world building with Conan the Barbarian. You see him as an old king. How does he get there? He starts off as a slave boy. You see him. It's really his first big acting role. It spans like this huge amount of time. It's got James Earl Jones as the villain in it, which is incredible. An amazing score by Basil Palladores, which that score is just, you think of the score and it's like, oh my God. I mean, it's like, it would make a great playlist to exercise to. It's just like that. Conan the Barbarian is epic. It's gotten better with age. I just love that film.
All right. I got 7 minutes. I know. Let's not hype it too much. Okay. Danny, so I believe it. I like your hype. Danny, Terminator 2 over Terminator. No, there was no argument in your head there?
No, look, I love the Terminator. The first one is a masterpiece. But Terminator 2, dude, I mean, what? I don't even have to explain this movie. Do I have to explain it? I mean, this is like James Cameron took a dump on Hollywood, bro. He's like, you want to, screw around with me? He proved that he was just the god director of the early 90s. That movie, special effects, Robert Patrick, dude, it's Terminator 2 Judgment Day, man. It speaks for itself.
All right. I picked Total Recall. I've already sort of said just because of its campiness. I think it holds up. Verhoeven, fantastic. There's so much fun to it. But all right, let's keep moving. So no one's agreeing yet. Let's go to our number 2. I picked Predator. Predator to me is, I'm going to pick my favorite action film of Arnold. It's Predator. It just holds up. It's so fun. It's such a great action versus hero. Danny, where are you going number 2?
Predator, same as you.
So all right, so Predator.
I love the Predator. I love stories where you have like a group of guys who are all, or gals, whatever. They're all different. They're going on an adventure, like Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, like that kind of movie. Like, and they're all characters. Jesse Ventura, you know, Shane Black. They all have these gimmicks, you know, and they're fighting this mysterious alien. You don't even know what the hell it is, and it becomes this huge alpha battle between man and beast at the end. It is one of the manliest movies ever made, and it's a classic, legit.
And
classic.
probably, I mean, it is my favorite. Arnold, get to the chopper, nah! You know, it's just come on, the chopper. Chris, what's your number 2?
Terminator 2. I mean, for all the reasons that Danny said previously, it's such a classic. It is the best Terminator movie. I'm sorry, they have not been able. Post Terminator 2, James Cameron just like did the mic drop on that film. They have not made a good Terminator movie since Terminator 2. I'm sorry, that's a whole other topic, but I defy you to debate that one. Terminator 2 is just, it's amazing. And what's funny is just hearing us all talk, like, these are all really good. We could sit and quibble about the order, but these are all amazing movies. For me, Terminator 2. All
right, so now we haven't put one in there, so we got to move quick because we have less than 5 minutes. I want to make sure we've called out any other favorites out there. Terminator 2 was on my list. I wrestled though because Terminator is still great, but if I'm talking Arnold, I think he did have more to do, and it was a bigger, better movie altogether, the rare sequel that sort of surpasses the original. So Terminator 2 might make it in there for me, but I also wanted to call Kindergarten Cop because I think it was the one opportunity where we really get to see Arnold shine in a comedy. Twins, I remember liking, but not as much as I remember loving Kindergarten Cop because it is actually a very funny, heartwarming, funny comedy, but it's got some great action. Crisp is a great bad guy. And Commando is also one that speaks to me just from its silliness, actionness, and then True Lies. Cameron, underrated Cameron movie because of so many other great movies, but True Lies is such a fun ride. Danny, any other ones we want to make sure we've put in the mix before we whittle down our top 3?
I mean, you mentioned a lot of them that I was going to say. Now I'm not going to say what my third one is yet because you don't want me to.
No, let's save that. I guess we're all fighting for our third.
Yeah, all the stuff that you said I agree with. I mean, even Expendables 2, it's a recent one, but
it's fun.
Seeing him and Bruce Willis together. Oh man, that was awesome! Saying each other's catchphrase. I know it's kind of
because they messed it up in part 1. You're right, and then part 2 they got yelled at, so they're like, "Let's do it right in part 2." Part 2 is way more fun. I agree.
Yeah, for sure.
And I was going to say, Last Action Hero, also I think underrated and ahead of its time. But Chris, what were you going to say?
I was going to say there is one we can eliminate off the list, and that's Batman and Robin. I feel
that's
like
twice in a row you've knocked out the Batman movies.
But yeah, him as Victor Freeze, all the bad puns that just don't work. Yeah, that one is not on the list.
No, it's not. It's fun. I had fun with it, but yeah, you're right. All right, so what are we nominating? So I guess we all sort of picked Terminator 2, so that's a safe one to put on our list. Is anyone going to debate that T2 shouldn't be on the list? Okay, so T2 is in. We'll argue. I want to argue the order of that maybe. The next one I would fight for. I love Total Recall, but I got Total Recall and Predator. I feel like I got to fight for one of those. Danny, what's the next one you feel like has to be there?
Here's my dark horse, and I don't think any of y'all are going to agree with me, but I love this movie, The Sixth Day. I love The Sixth Day.
Whoa.
I love the clones. I love the twist. I'm not going to spoil it with the eye, but there's twists in this movie, and it's like that creepy sort of futuristic utopian world, like that sort of AI Stanley Kubrick style. I love The Sixth Day. Again, I will freely admit it's not as good as Conan or True Lies, but for me, like, I was hooked when I saw that movie. I was like on the edge of my seat, and that shows that it's a good movie.
I liked of his newer stuff. I liked Eraser better. There was something fun about
Eraser was great too.
That was great. All right, Chris. Yeah. But yeah, I'm not picking that one unless Chris agrees with you. I don't know how that's making it there. Chris, which one are you picking? That has to be in the next top 3. You only have T2 in there.
It's got to be Total Recall. I mean, I'm with you. It's a classic. I mean, they tried to remake it, and it did not work.
Can't do it.
Yeah, so it still holds up to today. I mean, we're watching that version, right? So I really love that film. I think it's awesome, and I'm thinking of things I can't talk about. There's an alien.
Yeah, that's what. Did you know that really exists? There's a woman who really did it to copy.
Don't forget The Running Man. The Running Man.
Is great too.
Hilarious,
all right. Well, we have a minute and 30, so we only have T2 in there. So Danny, which one are you? I'm going to nominate. Well, I nominated Total Recall, But I also, all right, he's nominating Total Recall. I'm nominating Predator. What are you nominating, Danny?
No, I'm going for Predator too. I mean, I agree. Predator.
Oh, okay,
I was on my list.
So Predator. So all right. So if I'm going Predator and Chris is going, well, actually, I put Total Recall first. So in theory, so you're not voting for Total Recall in your top 3, Danny.
It's not in my top 3 originally, but I mean, I like the movie, but it's
and then
not
so
in my original top
just
3.
so I understand. All right. So if I'm picking one, I'm picking for one to push in there. I'm picking Total Recall. Chris, if you're picking one, are you picking Conan? What are you picking?
One to push in. I mean, Terminator 2 is kind of a lock, right?
It's locked.
I mean,
yes. The next one.
That's a lock. I would say Total Recall.
Okay. So we have 2 locks in Total Recall. And then Danny, what are you pushing in? Predator.
I mean,
I would vote for Predator as well.
Yeah.
Is there one that's not going to be Total Recall or Predator that needs to be in this mix? Conan. I like, but it's not.
I like 6 Day. It's
Are
hard,
you voting
man.
Total Recall and these two, Predator over Conan, Danny?
I'm going for Predator over Conan, but it's tough.
What about Total Recall over Conan?
Just my argument with Conan, they tried to remake Conan again with another actor, and it didn't work. Do you remember that like failed reboot of Conan when Arnold
8,
like does
7, 6?
They're iconic.
Yeah, I thought it was still not as most iconic as Predator or the others. So we've run out of time. We've only locked in one. So based off, nobody else pitched one. I feel like we were still arguing Predator. It was Predator, Conan, and Total Recall. And so 2 locks in that. Danny, you got to sort of pick out of those 2. Which one are you voting for?
I went with Predator for 2. So is there a third one?
Yeah, we have to. And then the third one.
You can throw in Total Recall if you want. That's fair. I mean,
all right. So we have T2, we have Predator, we have Total Recall. Does that list seem fair?
I think it does. It's just tricky because with Conan, like, even though Total Recall might be more entertaining in a way, Conan is like a real classic film. Like, they don't make them like that anymore.
It's fair.
Oh, I'm gonna go with Recall, but it's tough because Conan's like not one of a kind, but those early '80s movies like that one and all the.
I mean, Commando for that.
Like,
I would say Commando's in there too.
Huh?
Commando is on that list for me too.
I love
Running
Commando.
Man.
I love Commando.
They're great.
I love Commando.
All right, so T2 is number 1 since we all agreed on that most. You guys then, unless someone's putting one in, we're out of time. Are you putting Predator or Total Recall second?
Me?
Yeah, Danny.
Predator.
Chris, do you disagree with that, or would you put Total Recall second?
I don't disagree.
Okay, so are we locking in T2, Predator, Total Recall?
That sounds good to me.
Okay, we did it. We were a little over time, but we still locked it in. I agree that was tough. I was trying to help make sure we got this done in the 10-minute time. But there's a lot of movies that Arnold's made that I think he needs credit for. Fantastic action hero. I'm sad we didn't get a comedy in there, but I agree those 3 are great. And I'll be honest, Conan should be up there. There's a lot that should be up there, but I think those 3 are pretty iconic. Total Recall being probably the one outlier that maybe people would be surprised by, but T2, Predator are sort of the no-brainer, I think, Arnold classics of all time. So fantastic list. Thank you guys for doing it with me. Go check out Chris Gore over at Film Threat and his new doc, Attack of the Doc. Where can they find that, Chris? Over on your Twitter as well?
Yeah, just at Attack of the Doc, DOC on anything.
If you liked him over on G4 and Attack of the Show, go check out what he's doing because he's still working on it because the show it's apparently coming back. It better have some Chris Gore or I'm gonna be mad. And then we were gonna talk more about that. Danny over at Geekdom 101 and World of Geekdom, go subscribe to him over there for his content as well. There we go. Thank you, fellas, for joining us. Please subscribe to them and thank you guys for watching here. Tell us down in the comments which actor, director, or genre you want us to cover in a future top 3. It's so fun having these with that time clock. We want to hear your list, though, down below. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to share and subscribe here to Movie World. Bye, everybody.